Hey guys, I hope you're doing okay. Today's video is kind of just a recap of all the bad stuff that's been happening the last few days on a few of the projects that I covered. And I did delete the video about ETH Rugs token because they rugged us. I also removed one of the Fairmoon videos because that one ended up being rugged by the same person at the same time. And another project I was about to cover, Bunny, got hacked, and I lost money in all three of these projects. Now, luckily, when I invest into these projects, I tend to take profits from my good, stable yield farms I've been using and put them into these. And I always take profits on the way up and down, like I suggest that you do. I'm not a financial advisor, but if you're up enough to pull out your initial investment in any token, you might want to do that. Now, obviously, if it goes up even more, you miss out on some potential gains, but you protect yourself from what happened in both of these projects. And there was plenty of time to get out of Fairmoon in profit, and those of us who tried to ride it all the way up and hoping that that launchpad would come out, we got beat up the worst in all of this. So I did a community poll that I'll cover first, and not a lot of people voted in this, and it wasn't really the best one. But I was just wondering how many of you got rugged in the project, and it looks like I have about 24 votes, so about 10 or 11 people got hurt. I am sorry that happened, guys. I hope that you're okay. And I know like all this happened at the same time. The market crashed 50% for Bitcoin. It's bounced back now, but talk about a rough couple of days. And then a lot of you say I shouldn't cover risky stuff anymore. So I just want to go over that idea. So I do cover some newer projects that come out on both the Binance Smart Chain, and I go over some new stuff that's coming out on Solana. I want to go on some new stuff that's coming out on Cardano. And if I go out on brand new stuff and I bring it to you before audits are done and everything else, you have a chance to get in early, but you also have a chance of running into a project that either doesn't develop everything, has an exploit in the code, or is just a rug pull. And sometimes you can have projects that are very established still get hacked and have problems. There are different things that happen in those kind of cases, and we'll kind of go over the difference of one compared to the other. So, and I'm also going to cover this one over here. A lot of you wanted me to tell you the project that tried to hire me and make me hide the fact they were going to hire me. I don't ever plan to do that to you guys. I've only been hired by two projects that actually paid me to do reviews, and that was the Mythic team, and I told you about that in those videos, and they didn't do very well, and that project turned out to not be too well. So I'm going to try to be a little more picky with my reviewed stuff, but I will let you know it's reviewed so it has that grain of salt in there. And then I also want the other one that I got paid for was the Seascape project with all of their stuff. I actually think that project's done really well, and I'm still going to do some more videos on them because I've done pretty well with the minting the NFTs and the staking the NFTs, and that one's been pretty popular. I have a few more projects reaching out to me right now, and I'm also trying to capitalize on some of the projects I've been doing free videos for and showing them my videos and seeing if they'll hire me, because in the end I'd like to make a little bit of money from the YouTube videos. But I don't know exactly where I'll be heading with this channel, but I do plan on continuing to make content because I'm not going to be leaving the platform. If a few more of you want to vote about whether or not I should be covering risky stuff, if you don't, I think I'm going to make a new poll at the end of this video that just says, should I cover risky brand new projects, or should I only stay to things that are more established and safe? And see what you guys want. You can also just comment on this post to kind of let me know how you feel. Because I'm just wondering if this is really what most of you would rather see, no more brand new things that are kind of risky, or if this is just the people who, kind of saw this and came and voted. So just going on how I have, there's a couple good posts here I'm going to have linked in the video about how the War on Rugs team did this. And it just basically talks about what he did. I'm just going to recap them. I'm not going to kind of read these. I've already read through them. They're kind of long. But the basics of what he ended up doing, according to talking to the Fairmoon team, is after the first exploit on the first version of Fairmoon happened and there was that mini dump and they blamed that other person for doing it, War on Rugs came out. They tweeted about the fact that there was a bug in the code, and then they tweeted they would do a token swap. What I found out after talking a little bit to the Fairmoon community team is that because because War on Rugs had planned to launch the IDO, they decided just to not fight him on the fact that he could handle the token swap. And this was the biggest mistake the team made. And they've admitted that this is a mistake. It's still on Shappy, as he's called, and there's a lot of people looking into him, trying to figure out who he is so that he can hopefully get in trouble for doing this. But they let him take over the token swap and write the contract and do everything, because they thought it would just be bad PR if they started fighting back and forth with, hey, no, don't swap your tokens into that token, swap it into this token, and trying to push back. And I kind of wish the team just would have done that at that time. Sure, I might have just lost all of my capital, but we all would have, when the fight came out, maybe we could have just had what Fairmoon was before it got picked up to be the possible coin for an IDO platform. And that was just a cool little reflect token that played off of the SafeMoon idea, but with a better, only 2% fee, so you can actually trade the token and move it around and do stuff with it. And that community had some good people in it, and they could have built other things onto that platform. But they had a bully in War on Rugs kind of take over their project, make announcements, have more followers, push them out of the way, get control of their code. And so then one day he decided to take all the money. Basically, right now, the state of the coin is we can't do anything with it, and the devs don't seem to be able to fix it. And I'm pretty mad that they don't have anybody that can get into the code and fix what he did, but he put 100% tax on the coin if you try to move it, so it's impossible for us to even get the BNB that's locked up in that contract out of there. They pretty much just let the War on Rugs, Shappy in particular, but possibly the whole team. I don't really know everything, but a lot of them are saying some of the other people on the team had to be kind of aware what was going on, or should at least know who Shappy is and be able to help find him and, get him arrested for what he did. So there's a lot of going back and forth between the teams. There's a lot of very not happy people, and I was definitely really sad, not because I lost a super substantial amount of money, but because I don't really want to bring you projects that end up being rug pulls and fake. These are the first two on the Binance Smart Chain that have got me, and that's the RugETH token and the Fairmoon token. I'll definitely try to be a little bit more careful over here. There has been some more rug pulls, and just recently I started chasing kind of little coins, trying to find that 100x gem over here on Binance. I got into these two, and I also got into Hourglass, the one by Trevon, and I feel much safer in his project now because his point was that, there's all these scams out there in the world, and he says he's not going to scam us, and everyone knows who he is, and he's already been approached by the FBI once before for his BitConnect stuff, and if he tried to pull something like this, he would end up probably in jail because he's over here in America and very well known. But I don't really want to get into that right now. It's just something that I've come to realize is that, when you use these Anon projects, these Anon teams, you definitely need to make sure you're taking those profits and getting out of it. This is just something that's kind of interesting. There's this group called Yolo Capital that says that they know who Shappy is and they're going to dox him. But at the same time, people are saying Yolo Capital is members of War on Rugs, and so they're not to be trusted, even if they were to put out his name. I'll kind of follow it up because I just want to update you if he does get caught, and if there is any plan to get any of these funds sent back to the Fairmoon team, and if they also plan to launch any kind of token where they might do some kind of airdrop or anything for us. The actual RugETH token, I think that project is just officially dead. There was a guy pretending like he was going to do something with it in the Telegram, but he since deleted his account and is gone. So I don't know if even that was Shappy who was talking about building an NFT market and doing other things. So we'll just have to see. That one I don't expect to come back at all. So sorry about covering that. I won't. I'll do an update if I find anything else more about that. Now for the other community poll I was going to talk to you about is that the team that approached me with the token that said, hey, do this, but don't tell us about it. Oh, we won't pay that much. The other person, this guy did it for way more. And then I watched his video and he didn't even say that he was hired. It was this token here. It was the face token. It's kind of a weird one. They only issued one token with the hope that somehow we'd all be happy trading, sub even one token. And, it has a charity aspect, which made me kind of interesting to see if people would want to get involved in this because they were going to try to help mental health stuff, which is pretty important. But the project doesn't seem to have been getting anywhere. Their roadmap is still the same. The website, while it looks okay, it's very simple. There's nothing to it. And the coin, like it's one coin at a market cap of $26,000, but that's the whole market cap, just this one coin. And I mean, I guess it's had some pumps, right? When it was worth $90,000, I guess that was about 4x from here. I don't know. This isn't a project I really want to show too much for, but some people wanted to know which one it was, and I'm sure they're not the only project that has hired some people and asked them to hide that fact, and it's just not something I plan to do to you guys. So we're sitting over here looking at Bunny. Bunny got flash loan hacker attacked, and the coin went from in the 200s down to $1. I was in Bunny. I had 2 tokens, and so I was like, well, that kind of sucks. And then it went down to $1, and because this was an established team, I took a stab at buying a few tokens and got a few more. So now I have quite a few more Bunny than I used to have, but they're not worth that much money. This is maybe my little saving grace if this turns out being a good move. We'll see. We'll see if they're able to rebuild and come back. If you got caught up in the Bunny flash loan as well, hack attack, I hope you just kept your coins. They seem to be planning to do they have this really in detailed plan. I'll leave a link here if anyone wants to check it out, about how they're going to be able to pay us back for those of us that had tokens before the hack happened. I only had a couple, but we'll be in theory eventually they're gonna give us more Bunny tokens. So what they're gonna kind of do in the next few days, you should be issued a special P Bunny token, and then in 90 days you're going to be able to swap those for Bunny token that should equal the amount of money that you lost on the day of the hack. They're hoping that they're going to be able to add some new stuff to the site they had planned, and they're also going to give us a little airdrop of a new token that they were releasing because the same team behind Bunny was releasing a new platform. If you want to know everything about it, you'll have to come here and read it. And then the last thing I'm going to end with is just a warning of this Pokemon site. So this is a site I covered because they were doing a free airdrop of an egg. And, so far they seem to deliver on everything as far as building out the site and adding things to the site. But they've done some things that are very fishy to me, and I don't think that you should really do anything else on this site unless they actually launch their liquidity. Because what happened was they did their egg sale. They say they've sold quite a bit of these eggs, and they were supposed to take at least a portion of these profits, but they were kind of iffy on what portion of those profits would go into the liquidity pool for the Pokemon token that we're able to farm here. Now, the farm does work, but it has some extra fees for staking Pokemon. And so my guess is they're just somebody who's building a site with lots of functionality, hoping people will use it, and then they're going to just walk away with a little bit of BNB that they've been able to claim. I hope they prove me wrong, because this site is kind of well built. They already have the book, they had the eggs, they have, I know they don't have a right to use the Pokemon stuff, but this is a decentralized crypto world, so nobody's going to necessarily stop these guys right away. And if they knew what they were doing, they wouldn't be stopped. But I mean, everything about this screams, we're just going to collect little fees from you. You had to pay 0.005 BNB to open an egg. You had to pay 0.005 BNB to claim an egg. If I want to claim this airdrop, I have to pay 0.005 BNB, and I'll get an airdrop of the Pokemon token that I can farm that I can't trade because there's no marketplace for it. I could also sit here and I could claim these tokens for a regular gas free, but I'm not even really suggesting people do that, because you'd have to spend money to stake this. So I spent a little bit of BNB just testing the site and checking it out. At this point, I'm going to have to say that this is looking kind of like a scam. I'm expecting them to disappear and never provide liquidity for this S Pokemon token. And then it didn't feel good that they decided to launch a Nether token on their site during the Dogecoin craziness, where they were like, we're going to make a funny looking Pikachu and then launch a new coin. So I'm going to end it right there. The video is a little bit long for just like hey, I'm sorry I showed you a few projects that didn't go well. I will say that overall in my videos, I think Panther Swap has been a pretty good find in Shark with the Shark pre-sale. My Splinterland stuff is still a solid project with some big news coming out soon. Both of these projects I looked at on Solana look to be good, and we did get a free token on Soul Farm. So if you got into that and you started farming, they gave you their Tulip token that they just launched, and I'll be doing a follow-up video on that and how you can be farming that Tulip video over on the Solana blockchain. And then I'll be just going forward covering the stuff on Binance that is working, covering the stuff on Solana that I find. I might be heading off to Matic to look into that one. I'm trying not to spread myself too much. I'd like to actually make money in some of these farms, and if I get too spread out, I'm putting too little bit in each one, and even if one succeeds, I don't end up making very much money. But at the same time, I want to be able to make good content. I want to be able to show you lots of new things. So thank you, everybody. I hope you're doing okay. I hope the market recovers and continues to recover. And I do hope that pretty soon we'll all be much better place than we are today. And crypto allows us to reach a whole better place for our lives. Thanks. Bye.